So as we get into melodic solfege, the biggest challenge for most people is to get used to singing the syllables and singing the major scale with the syllables. Some of you might have already done this in high school, so you're good. Some of you might be a new concept, so it's going to take a little practice just to get the hang of it. But with repetition, everything's going to be just fine. The way to really just get started is to sing the scale. So let's practice with a C major scale. So here's C. And if you have a piano or a guitar or any instrument at home that you don't need your mouth to play a note, you can play it, give yourself a tonic reference pitch and just start to sing. One more thing before you sing. I almost made a mistake. Make sure your back is nice and straight, you have good posture, okay? Make sure your chest is nice and open, and then you take a nice deep breath. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So having good breath support is key to also singing in tune. I don't always sing in tune, but if you have good breath support, you can do it. One way to get the good breath support is to practice, like I just said, sit up nice and straight, keep a nice full chest, and go. And then let your air out like you're blowing through a straw, like. And you see, I can do this for like a minute or so, okay? Because when you let your breath out that way, you feel like you can do it. It's not like you're holding your breath. You feel like you can just let the air out slowly and controlled. And that's really what you're doing when you're singing too. It's letting your breath out in a slow and controlled way. So really we're doing that thing when we're singing. We are. Again. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So just get used to doing that over and over again. Now, the theoretical thing that you should know is that there are half steps between mi and fa, and ti and do. And so all the other steps are whole steps. So we can try to even measure when we're singing, like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. See, and if you have good breath support and you let your air out like you're blowing through a straw, then you can sing in tune and you can measure your intervals and you can have your breath last you the whole way down the scale. Okay, so that's really important. So one of the biggest challenges when we start to sing solfege with the scale is when we have melodies that change direction. So it's one thing to be able to sing the scale from the bottom to the top and then go down. It's another thing to constantly have, ascending and descending melodic shapes. So what I like to do is make a little exercise out of the scale. So I'm going to take my C note and I'll do 3 notes up, 1 note down, 3 notes up, 1 note down. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, do. And I'm done there. And then I'll do the same thing backwards. 3 notes down, 1 up. 3 down, 1 up. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do. can try that a few times, and then the more we do it, the better we'll get at changing direction. So looking at the textbook now, we're going to start from chapter 2, which is the stepwise melodies. Again, stepwise means scalar melodies, melodies that move up and down by the steps of the scale. When we're going to sight sing, okay, which is also what we did during the rhythm, we're always going to analyze the example. So they offer these 4 steps of advice. Number 1, look at the key signature. So we're going to try and figure out what the key is by the key signature. Then we try to see what line or space the tonic pitch would be. And then we try to see if the melody starts on the tonic or starts on another note from the scale. And then it says here, you may play the tonic note, but no other immediately before singing. So we're going to give ourselves a reference pitch, right, which is the tonic note of the scale. Step 2, scan the melody for passages in stepwise movement, and then for larger intervals, particularly those presented in the chapter under study. Well, in this chapter, there are no large intervals. We're only focusing on stepwise movement. Step 3, observe the phrase marks. The end of a phrase mark usually indicates a cadence, a temporary pause, or a final stopping place, much the way commas and periods indicate pauses in language reading. Look ahead to the last note under each phrase mark so you know where you are heading. So this gives you an idea of the melodic ideas that are going to be presented. And these are also good places to take breaths, and remember to give yourself full breath support. And then, firmly establish the key in your mind. Singing a scale is helpful. Many musicians prefer a more elaborate pattern. We're not going to do that. We're going to sing a scale, because that's what I think we need to work on to start with. Okay, so those are our 4 steps. Key signature, scan the melody for the intervals that it uses, in this case stepwise. Look at the phrases to see where the ends and beginning of phrases are, and then sing the scale. Let's try. Looking at example 2.3, I've got a key signature of F sharp, 1 sharp, and that is the key of G major. My tonic pitch is going to be this second line here on the treble clef staff. Incidentally, the treble clef is actually a fancy G, in case you didn't know that. So the line that it kind of curls around is the second line of the staff, which is G. And let's give ourselves a tonic pitch. That's Do. That's going to be high for my voice, so I'm going to sing it down lower. Do, that's Do. Looking at the melody, I'm going to try to figure out what the solfege would be for each of these. If this is my tonic note, this is G, this is Do. This is Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Mi, Re, Do, Ti, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, Fa, Mi, Fa, Sol, Fa, Mi, Re, Do. Right, so again, these are all going stepwise. So every note is going to be 1 step away from the previous note. Let's look now for the phrase marks. So here we have a phrase mark, and this is where the first phrase ends. I'm going to take a breath right here, and then the next phrase ends here. So this is a 2-phrase piece of music. All right, let's get back to our tonic and sing a scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. All right, I did a perfect sight read. But again, I memorized this piece because I teach it every semester. So you might have trouble in a certain spot. Let's say in between the phrases. Ti, do, re, rest. mi. So taking a little rest in between re and mi can be tricky. So you might want to just practice do, ti, do, re, mi. Or you could do it this way. You could take out the rest. Do, ti, do, re, mi. That might help you. Then add the rest back in. Do, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So just like with the rhythms, after the sight read, then you drill particular treble spots. 2/4 melody, here we have one, and we've got ourselves the bass clef. So going through the process again, we have one sharp, which is G major. Our tonic is going to be here. They've marked it for us. It's the top space of the staff. So the bass clef, in case you didn't know, is a funny looking F. And that F sits right on top. Well, the two lines of the F, the two horizontal lines, go right in the middle of the fourth line up. And that's where F would be. So if F is there, G is right there. So that's G, and this melody does start on G, the tonic. So now let's go and scan through the solfege. Do, do, re, mi, re, do, ti, la, sol, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, re, re again, and then do. Now, let's look at the phrases. Here's one phrase, ends on this D here, which is sol. And then the second phrase ends on the G, which is do. All right, let's sing a scale to get into the key. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do,